Now we're at the point where we can build our website. I'm going to point out there's lots of options on how to do this. Personally, I'm going to suggest you use a website builder like Wix, and I'm going to run through how to use Wix specifically. If you're following along as a tutorial for building a website, please go ahead and log into Wix using the login details you've been given by your teacher, or log in using your own details if you've not been given a login. There are plenty of other ways to do this, but this is how I'm going to approach it. When you load up Wix fresh, you'll be taken to your My Sites page. If you have no sites on there, it will ask you to create a new one straight away, or you can click Create New Site to create a new one if you already have existing sites on the account. Now, as this is NEA, you shouldn't complete the work with an existing template. So I'm going to suggest everyone opts to use a blank template when they create their website. You can find that on the right of the screen where it says blank templates, and this will give you a bunch of basic layouts. My advice is to choose this one. It's the simplest and most flexible one that will give you a few building blocks to work with. Click Edit to open it up, and then you'll be able to start creating your website. Once the page is loaded, you'll notice lots of different things on the screen and the bare bones of a website for you to start making some changes to. I'm going to start off though by telling you to save your website. Wix is useful because it does do autosaves, but it will only do that if you've already saved the website once. So let's just get that out of the way, so if anything goes wrong during your first session, you're not having to backtrack an absolute mile to get your work back. If you come up to the top right of the screen, click Save, and you'll get a pop-up asking you to name your site. As this is an NEA, my advice would be to name it as your name, NEA. So Mr. Bayliss NEA, for example. But you can also use the name of your film and call the site something different on the My Site page. We can worry about this later to an extent. You don't want to be changing the name of your site too often though, so do either just use the basic of your name NEA or your film's name straight away. Either one works, but make sure you name it now. Don't call it My Site because everyone would have the same name then, and hit save. Whatever you do though, don't hit the publish button. This would do two really annoying things. One, it makes your site live and your NEA should not be available publicly, so it means that you're going to have to copy the site, delete the site, etc. It's annoying. And number two, once it's been published, you can't preview the site in one click. Once you've published it, it will always give you the option to view the live site. But in order to just preview that site, the one that you've currently done as much work as possible on, you'd then have to go to edit and then have a look at it. It's quite frustrating, it's not useful. Do try to instead use just the save button. So do not publish the page unless you are expressly told to do so. Save is enough. The next part I'm going to show you is the Pages tool. On the left of the page are a bunch of tools, the top one of which is the Menu and Pages tool. This allows you to edit the names and layout of your pages on your website. Wix is super useful in that it links the pages on here directly to the navigation bar, so that as you edit the pages, the nav bar will automatically update to reflect your pages. That's super handy. So if you click on the Pages tool, you'll see all your different pages appear on this tab, and you can start clicking on the pages to edit them. The three dots on the right of any of the pages allows you to bring up the options for that page, including settings, rename, delete, etc. In this instance, I want to get rid of a page, so I'll just hop on down and hit delete to remove that page completely. You can select rename from the menu or double click on the name in order to change the name of a page to what you want it to be. In your planning, you should have worked out what pages you want on your website, so you can input all of those names right now. I advise the second page is called Behind the Scenes, as this clearly labels to the examiner what your second marked page is. Your other pages can be completely blank, no content whatsoever. You only have to make those two pages, But the fact that these other pages appear on the navigation bar makes your site authentic and looks more realistic, so you definitely want to include them. If you want to create a new page, you can click Add Page at the bottom to create a completely blank page. If you want one page to appear as a drop-down option for one of the other pages, drag the page to below the other one until it clips to it and appears slightly to the right, like so. This means it appears underneath the other one on the navigation bar. Again, this is more for authenticity rather than for real functionality in terms of your NEA. Remember, you can use this tab to move between pages you're editing. You just need to click on them. Or you can use the page tool at the top of the screen directly to the right of the Wix logo to do the same. As you're only editing 2 pages, you probably actually won't need to do this too much, and once you've put all these names in now, you probably won't need to touch this tab very much again at all. The next thing you'll probably want to do is start adding elements to your page. This is pretty straightforward and can be done from the Add button on the left of the page underneath the menus and page tool we just used. The Add button has plenty of options, but I'm going to start off by showing you how to add images, as this is often the most important part of a website. Click on Add Image and My Uploads to use one of the images you've created or uploaded. All of the images already uploaded to your website will be available every time you click on the My Uploads, but as you're just starting out, you'll need to add some. Now, you can't just copy and paste an image onto the website from the internet, so instead every time you've got to come in here to upload images. So once you've downloaded the image onto your computer that you want to upload, hit Upload Media in the top left corner of this page and you'll be able to add a new image. You can find and upload that image from your computer. You can just drag it into the box or click Browse, whichever works better for you. And once it's in there and uploaded, you can add it to your page. Once it's on your page, you can position and resize your image to fit the space you want it to fit. I made this specific image earlier on Photoshop to act as a banner for my website, and you can see here I've placed it at the top into the header space of my website. As I did that, it changed from a blue outline glow to an orange one. That signifies it is in the header. On Wix, anything that's in the header and footer will appear on every single page in those areas. So once it is glowing orange, I know it will appear on all of my pages. I want that to be consistent for synergy reasons across the different pages. So on Wix, make sure that it goes in and changes color so that you know that it's done that. Now notice I can resize and reshape the image by adjusting from the corners, but beware that Wix treats this in a slightly weird way. So try to keep the shape as uniform as possible. So keep it as close to its original shape, even if you're changing the size, because otherwise it can crop out some parts. It's a really annoying thing that Wix sometimes does. You'll notice I do a few other things here quickly as well. Firstly, you can adjust the height of your header by clicking on the horizontal bar and dragging up or down. This enables you to change how big that header is. You can do the same with the footer as well. I do this here to add space for my navigation bar. You can also left and right click on any item that you've placed on your website to get options for them. I use the right click here to send the banner to the back, so I can place my social media icons on top, and so that I can grab and reposition my navigation bar. Bear in mind this is applicable for all parts of the website, so anything you put on there can be layered in this way. So this is a really good way of building up layers on top of each other, creating links on top of images and elements like that. There's plenty of other things you can start adding to your website as well. For example, you have the option to add social media links. I didn't like mine, so I opted to start from scratch. You can find those in the Add tab on the left of the screen. You're given a lot of options here for different socials that you can attach. Once you've added one, you can also click on it and use the Set Social Links option to adjust the social links you're adding, or go to the Arrangement option to change how the icons stack up and look. Other than social links, you're likely to want to add other elements like text. Here you can see I add a poster for my film, and then directly next to it I add a text box with the add text option. You can still change all the elements of the text like colour and font from the text settings that pop up, meaning you can create the look you want at any given moment. Text will work as text boxes, so you can also change the size and fit of the text to wherever you want it to go on the screen. One of the nicest parts about Wix is it also has plenty of options for other media. We could add video. We're not creating any unless you want to go the extra mile, but we can add audio. Choose the add video and music option from the add tab and you'll have a list of music options, but these are actually just audio players. You can choose the basic audio player or one of the Wix music options, but both enable you to upload your own tracks, customize the player, and thus have your audio interview embedded in your website. You can add this straight away to your behind the scenes page, even if you've not created the audio track. More on that will come in a separate video for tips on how you can create that audio track. Beyond the basic uploads, however, Wix also offers some more interesting options for galleries, buttons, strips, and interactive elements. I'd try out a few of them to get an idea of what is available. Personally, I quite like the interactive options. Adding any of those can really make your site come alive. Some are hover, some are automatic scrollers. It depends on what you decide to add. I can't go through all of them and how to make them work, but do have a look and have a try because most of them are pretty straightforward once you realise what they're doing. You can see here I'm just playing with a couple to try and make it so that on the hover you see something different to when you look at it without hovering over it with your mouse. Now you can also add a background to your whole website. The background tab you'll find between the pages and menu and add to tabs on the left of the screen. Once you're on there, you can have, well, you can choose to have either a blank color as your background, or you can upload an image to use as your background instead. It's totally up to you what you want to do with this. It's one of the easier options on the website, so you should be able to get a hold of that pretty quickly. The final part I will point out before I let you experiment is hyperlinks. Now, a hyperlink is represented by a chain link like this, but it is basically the connection between one page and another. You can add these to pretty much any image, shape, video, pretty much anything on your website. I'm going to add two images now. One is a scene and one is a play button. If I pop the play button on top of the other image, it makes it look like the whole image is a video. Thus, we can have a trailer on our website without ever making one. Simply use the hyperlink option to select a different page on the website, such as the trailer page, or an external website such as YouTube, and your fake video links to something where the video would normally play. You get the perfect benefit of appearing to have a video but without needing to actually make one. The hyperlink can work for anything, so you can also use this to link from your main homepage to your behind the scenes to make it even easier for your moderator to find the work you've worked so hard on. And that's it. Everything else is you experimenting with things. You can now build your own website. Hopefully this helps you make a start on your NEA, and if there is anything specific that you want to try to do that isn't explained here, you can search for this on YouTube for other videos that will explain it. There is a lot of videos out there for guidance on how to use Wix and also how to create specific looks. Hopefully you're good to go. Good luck.